Good morning, I'm David Combe with the CBS and Debrief. This Thursday the 24th of March. We're just coming up at 8:30 a.m. here, and in market action overnight we saw the Dow up slightly, just a little bit over 0.5%, 0.56% to be precise, to 67 points on the Dow. Now some of this was helped along by the Japanese construction hopes post-earthquake and tsunami that should benefit, or looks like it did benefit, some of the industrial and mining companies. The other big mover last night was gold. We also did see some data out with regards to housing, which was, in fact, I believe, one of the worst on records there in the States. So perhaps where we're seeing a bit of a shift away from the demand in the US for that sort of activity over Japan, and that's kind of picked up the slack. It's probably a little bit early to say, but perhaps that's where the mind of the market is going. Let's move on to have a look at some of the other indices here. With the S&P 500 up 0.29%, so the broader measure a little bit more subdued, and Nasdaq up 0.54%. In Toronto, a little bit bigger there, perhaps with the greater weight to the mining sector at 0.62. Mexico 1.73, quite a big move there, and Brazil 0.32. Over in Europe, similar sort of picture, sort of between a third to 0.5%, with the FTSE probably the bigger move there, Spain, and so that's the 100 index for the FTSE, and that's the FTSE Milan 0.66%. And then Asia Pacific yesterday, we did end up closing out just slightly higher, up 9 points, with the Hang Seng down 32.5, and the Nikkei giving up some of those gains after some of that radiation concern was rekindled there, so that ended up closing down 1.65. For today, our market is pointing up 19 points. The Hang Seng pretty flat, and the Nikkei just down 50 at this stage. Let's move on now and take a look at the commodity space. Nice to see this natural gas moving up yet again, 2.14%. For those of you that are holding the natural gas point, I think you can expect a payday there any day soon. I know that that's in substantial profit there, and the suggestion was that we'd be closing out of that pretty soon. Moving on to crude, 105.53. That's up 56 cents. The rest of the commodities space was largely down. Looks like sugar down 2.14 was a pretty good mover there. Cotton nearly 2%. Coffee 1.77. Only rises there that I'm seeing is rough rice up 1.37, orange juice 0.82, and cocoa even. Copper $4.42.80, up 11.5 cents or 2.67%. Now again, we're probably seeing some of this demand pull coming through from Japan, the reconstruction that will need to take place there. I saw a headline yesterday that compared the Japanese disaster with 4 times the Louisiana flood, Katrina there. So here's a little bit of an idea of the magnitude of the disaster up there. Gold brushing with all-time highs here, $14.38, up $10.40. So can really start to perhaps be ready to move on that if we do break above these all-time highs. Silver up, as always, more in percentage term than when gold moves, and tends to follow it. Okay, take a quick look now at the commodity crosses, currency crosses. Euro line 1.4089 US dollars. It's down about 10 pips there. Pound buying 1.6235. The US dollar buying 80.8845 yen, and the Aussie buying a little bit more US dollars now, 1.0134, and the US dollar buying 0.9816 Canadian and 0.9085 Swiss francs. Let's take a look at those housing numbers. So for new house sales for February, we were expecting 290,000 and only got 250,000. And then the new home sales in terms of percentage down 16.9%. So that was, I think that was the big figure. It got the headlines there. Expectation was just slightly above, or just slight growth there. We've had some consumer confidence numbers out of Europe looking ever so slightly better than expected, not much. And then later on this morning, or very shortly in fact, we've got GDP figures out of New Zealand for Q4 and gross domestic product up year on year there. Then we move through to the latter part of the morning with trade balance totals out of Japan, and then some Eurozone Purchasing Managers Index numbers, retail sales out of the UK, and then the weekly jobless numbers out of the US, and that pretty much takes us through to Friday. Let's take a quick look now at the Falcon Trader. Just having a look here at the gold chart, US dollar gold, and we're seeing here that we're right back up there in this sort of double top here. We're back above this that rounding out pattern there. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. If we get a break of this level here, then maybe we are looking up here at 1500, which is the 1.618 Fibonacci extension on this AB bull. So we'll watch that one. Now I'll just follow up here on a couple of the gas stocks that I've been talking about both Tuesday and late last week. One of them was AGL, down here on this really pretty solid level of support to my eye. It has moved up here quite nicely. Got a couple of clients in on this one, just above $14 it has. Pulled back here, but yeah, whilst that's a little bit disappointing, remain fairly convinced that it shouldn't be that long before we're looking at $15 or thereabouts. The other one that we have looked at is Energy World Corporation, which for some reason doesn't seem to be on this. Okay, so I'm actually getting a little bit worried about this. I saw a nice break up to 44, 45, and it looked like it was going to move higher. Maybe this is just a bit of a retracement here, but I had higher hopes for it here, but sadly not to be at this stage. So I think, as mentioned, if you have your stop loss down here around 36 cents or so, it is a reasonably big move down, but that certainly would give it plenty of room. And if it did break below this low here, then clearly we know we're wrong. Okay, so just probably want to have a look here at Origin. As well, quite like that. Just while that's loading up, I guess it's worth mentioning that certainly the view here at CBS is that natural gas will be, if not the fuel of the future, certainly it is going to fill a lot of needs structurally going forward, not just with regards to Japan in the short term needing to fill the void created by the shutdown of the various reactors there, but the need to comply with carbon emissions trading schemes and such like can immediately shave 30 to 40% off your carbon emissions by burning natural gas versus coal. So if you think about it, a lot of countries could immediately meet their 20% reduction by 2020 targets by simply converting large parts of their existing electricity production to natural gas. So as I say, pretty bullish here on that. Just to finish off here, I am going to bring up one way of trading natural gas, and that's via a leveraged instrument. This is leveraged at 2 to 1. So that means, for example, if we get a 5% move up, the underlying asset will move 10%, or vice versa. So this is quite an interesting one. It's traded on the London Exchange, and it's priced in cents. And if you get a feel for where this has been with a weekly chart, you can see that this was trading up at $80 back pre-GFC. It's now trading at 30 cents, or let's just see what the latest is there, 38.4 cents. So, looking at that, and it's perhaps never a good way to judge if something's going to go up and down, but to my eye, this is getting to that point where it would seem pretty abundantly clear that this is only going to go one way. Anyhow, that's just my opinion. On that note, I will leave everyone to ponder today's ideas there, and wish everyone a great day and good trading. Until next time, bye-bye.